music. Shutterstock Music.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of Black College Experience. I am one half of the tag team that brings you almost all of the HBCU sports everywhere here in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. And we have in Atlanta, yes, I can hear you perfectly fine. The founder. As long as you don't act like Ray Kroc. Right. You're right. Here was the initial situation. Okay, they wanted to leave it up to the bands or the band director to determine whether or not the visiting band could participate. The reason why is because there's a time limit allowed for halftime. And if you go over, your allowed time and you get penalized. So that's what this rule was proposed to uh, keep from happening. I mean, you got to understand, if this were the FBS, yeah, not a problem. But when it comes to HBCUs, it doesn't matter if it's it doesn't matter if it's SWAC, CIAA, MEAC, SIAC, Tennessee State, Independent. The bands are part of the show. They're part of it. And they got plenty of backlash. And of course, this was only in the CIAA because we know that would not happen in the SWAC. I mean, they would go practically insane if you have the Alcorn versus Jackson State or Alcorn versus Southern, and you don't let both schools' bands play if both come to the game. So a couple days later, they did reverse it. The Winston-Salem Journal is reporting that the CIAA Commissioner Jackie Williams held a conference with all of the conference athletic directors early Thursday to announce the reversal. So, that just shows you, the backlash that they received from this decision. They want to keep people in the seats, and of course, the CIAA, is trying to keep their attendance up. So not allowing both bands to play at halftime, I think would have definitely impacted the attendance of the game. What do you think? Exactly. Oh yeah. Right. And I'm glad they reversed it too, because like you said, I mean, it's just awesome, to be able to go and hear bands. And the game I covered, this past weekend, um, Bethune Cookman's band wasn't there because with issues with the hurricane. So, you know, um, it definitely impacted the game day experience because Bethune Cookman would have been rocking in those stands. So, yeah. Well, here's another suggestion. Being that they want to keep with a certain time limit. I mean, of course, we know FBS and FCS have different, rules and different game day experiences. But FCS HBU has a different game day experience than FCS non HBCU. So what they could do is recommend extending the time. And what I think they should do is when a HBCU game is being displayed on TV, they ought to show more of the halftime show. They don't show enough of the halftime shows. I mean, showcase. Right. Right. Uh oh. Right. I agree. I agree wholeheartedly. All right. Um, oh, yeah. Well, I think the Bears realized that they had an outstanding um, talent. They game plan to utilize him in certain situations um, to where You know, they took out the starting running back and put him in. And he responded by leading the team in rushing and receiving. And they caught the touchdown pass. And they also went with him to try to win the game, but a defender got to him and was able to knock the ball out of his hands. So he ran the ball, he caught the ball, he returned the kicks. So Yes, indeed. Well, what this was, of course, we know everyone wants to draft the FBS prospect, right? So we also know that the FCS puts its fair share of players in the NFL. You can see from the amount of legends we have in the NFL. So what Hero Sports did was they broke down all the current FCS players that are in the NFL and broke down their team. Now, I'm only concerned with the HBCU players, and we had quite a few players from the HBCU ranks that made this team. Um, Alabama State's Isaiah Correa at running back. Let's see, Grambling had two wide receivers, Chester Rogers and rookie Chad Williams on the offensive line. Let's see here. We had one, Teron Armstead from Arkansas Pine Bluff on defense, which I think we may have the most prospects. We have Jason Hargrave out of South Carolina State, Rodney Gunter out of Delaware State, and also Joe Thomas from South Carolina State. Let's see here, defensive backs. We have Dominique Rogers-Cromartie out of Tennessee State, Antoine Bethea out of Howard. And special teams, they didn't have the young man that played at Albany as the punter, but I think he should have been on there. But I think it was awesome to see them make this list and include HBCU players on it. If you could make a Legends team, you would have more HBCU players on that Legends team, especially at the quarterback position. I mean, because you have Doug Williams, you have Steve McNair, you have James Shaq Harris. Wide receiver, of course, you have the incomparable Jerry Rice. And at running back, you have Walter Payton. Offensive line, one of the greatest offensive linemen to ever play in the NFL was Jackson State's Jackie Slater. Defense, you have Michael Strahan at defense and Mel Blunt at defensive back. So, I mean, HBCU players would be on that list all the way through. All right, we're going to be right back after this commercial break.
I already knew that I was going to go to college, from a young age. I definitely want to major in political science. After that, I'm going to get my law degree. Then I'm going to come back to Detroit, boost the economy, become the mayor or something, try to make the situation better for other people. I feel like I owe it to the city. I'm determined. It's going to happen. My name is Justin, and I am your dividend.
We're back with Black College Experience. Kels? All right. So, the message that I just sent to you, are you sure? Um, all right, we're moving right along. Moving right along. So I like that what Hero Sports did. I mean, I just think it's awesome that they did that. So, but before we move forward, yeah, Kels, I think so. I think Preview showed that they can compete. I mean, they did not quit in that game. I watched the game, um, and it was nice to see them fight back. They could have given up and let Sam Houston State run away with the game, but they fought back. And I guess you can say putting the SWAC on notice that hey, we can compete. The SWAC West isn't decided yet. You're not just gonna hand the crown over to Grambling. Grambling gonna have to come through Prairie View. So with their performance against Sam Houston State, with them being a top-notch FCS squad, I think they showed their mettle. I mean, I think they're gonna be in contention for the SWAC West. It's just not gonna be the Grambling show in the West. You know what I'm saying?